Students, in this video I am going to discuss the second method, Lagrange multiplier technique. And we have divided this method into two parts. One, A part, when we are discussing the problem with only two variables and one equality constraint. And then in the second part, we have generalized this for n number of variables. Fine. So let's see. Suppose we are having NLPP with two variables and one equality constraint. Only one equality constraint is there and the problem is of two dimensional. So minimum of f of x1 x2 objective function subjected to the constraint g of x1 x2 is equal to b, where x1 x2 is greater than equal to z. They are positive. Fine. So our target is to convert this problem into unconstrained one, and for this we will choose Lagrange multiplier. Lagrange multipliers, they are basically the scalar quantities. So convert a constrained problem to an equivalent unconstrained problem with the help of certain unspecified parameters known as Lagrange multipliers, and generally they are denoted by lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3 and so on. If we have only one constraint, then lambda, but if we have more than one constraint, then lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3, etc. That means for each constraint we are having an associated Lagrange multiplier. Fine. So here, since we have only single constraint, so the converted problem is this. Minimum is as it is same, just like our problem, because our problem was minimization. This problem is of minimization in nature. So minimum objective function plus lambda times g x1 x2 minus b. This is our Lagrange function. So this is our Lagrange function L x1 x2 and lambda is the Lagrange multiplier is equals to the objective function plus lambda times g of x1 x2 minus b. This is our from the constraint. This is from the constraint. Lambda is the Lagrange multiplier and this is called the Lagrangian function. Fine. So basically now we are having incorporated this constraint or added this constraint through this lambda in our objective function, and this is called as Lagrange function. Fine. So now in place of constraint optimization problem, we are having unconstrained optimization problem. This is the standard form. Now necessary condition, the function L. Now in place of f we are dealing with Lagrange function. So now the function L x1 x2 lambda has an extreme point which may be maximum or minimum at some x star. X star is now x1 star, x2 star and lambda star. A new variable is added. Initially we are having x1 and x2, two variables. Now lambda is also added in that. So that's why now we are having three variables, x1, x2 and lambda. So x star is x1 star, x2 star, lambda star. So this is the function. This has an extreme point, maxima or minima at x star if the first order partial derivatives exists at x star and del L by del x1 at x star is equals to del L by del x2 at x star is equal to del L by del lambda at x star is equal to 0. This is our necessary condition. First partial derivatives with respect to x1, x2 and lambda at point x star will be 0. Fine. So now what is our L? L is this. Partially differentiate this with respect to x1. We are considering this part del L by del x1. So partially differentiate this with respect to x1. So what we will get? Del L by del x1 is equal to 0 implies del f by del x1 plus lambda times del g by del x1 equal to 0, because this is a constant, b is a constant, so its value will be 0 when you are differentiating b with respect to x1. So this will give you 0. So we get only lambda del g by del x1 equal to 0. Similarly here del L by del x2 is equal to 0 implies del f by del x2 plus lambda times del g by del x2 is equal to 0. Similarly, del L by del lambda is equal to 0. So since this is free from lambda, so this will be 0. Only lambda is associated with this term, so that's why we get z del L by del lambda gives you this quantity. G minus b is equals to 0. G x1 x2 minus b is equal to 0. This is your original constraint. Fine, so you are getting original constraint. So we are having three equations. Now step number 2. So this procedure is divided into steps. This is the first step. Now the second step, express all xi's in terms of lambda. So from here, first equation, express x1 in terms of lambda. From second equation, express x2 is equal to lambda. And then, so in step 2, express all xi's in terms of lambda. Step number 3, put all xi's in terms of lambda in this equation, third equation. So from here you have in term x1 in terms of lambda, from second x1 x2 in terms of lambda. Put those two x1 and x2 in terms of lambda in third equation and then find out the value of lambda. Fine. So now this last step, calculate all xi's using the value of lambda. So put this value of lambda from third equation in here and get x1, put in the second equation, so you will get x2. Fine. So this is the procedure. And now in the second part of the method we will generalize this concept. But before that, let us apply this through an example. So this is the example. Here minimum of f of x1 x2 is equal to 5 divided by x1 x2 whole square. This is in division. Fine. This is in division. From here to here, this is in division. So minimum of f of x1 x2 is equal to 5 divided by x1 x2 whole square. Subjected to this constraint, g of x1 x2 equal to is equivalent to x1 square plus x2 square minus 1 is equal to 0. Equality constraint. Two variable problem, single constraint is there. Fine. So now what will be the Lagrange multiplier? Lagrange multiplier by is nothing but this objective function. This objective function, this 5 upon x1 x2 whole square plus lambda times constraint. So x1 square plus x2 square minus 1. So first whatever be in the right hand side, take in the left hand side, so that in the right hand side we have a 0. And then put it here. Multiply by lambda and then add the objective function. This will be your Lagrangian. x1 x2 lambda. This is your Lagrangian function. Fine. So now here this is the Lagrangian function. Then necessary condition means del L by del x1 equal to 0, del L by del x2 is equal to 0, del L by del lambda is equal to 0. This is our necessary conditions. So now first condition implies just partially differentiate this Lagrangian function with respect to x1, so we get this. And now from here express, find out lambda. Because what is our target? Our target is to find out the value of lambda. So here this is very difficult to find x1 in terms of x2 in terms of lambda here, because this is very complex equation. So you are unable to find out x1 in terms of lambda. So better is that from here you just find out lambda. So 2 lambda is equal to this. Fine. Now second equation is del L by del x2 is equal to 0. We get this equation. Again find out 2 lambda here. So 2 lambda is equal to this. So now you can easily remove 2 lambda left hand side. So you will get a relation between x1 and x2 here. Fine. Now from third equation del L by del lambda is equal to 0. So we get the actual constraint. Now from first and second, when you are solving this for 2 lambda, so we get this relation. 2 lambda is equal to 5 by this is equal to 10 by x1 x2 raised to the power 4. From these two we get a relation between x1 and x2 is this. After simplification, and since we are having constraint x1 and x2 both are positive, so taking positive square root, so we get x1 is equal to x2 divided by square root of 2. Now substitute this value in this third equation, so we get this, and then after solving this we get x1 equal to 1 by root 3. Sorry, here we get x2 is equal to root 2 by root 3. So x2, after solving this, we get x2 is equal to root 2 by root 3. Put it in equation number 4. So we get x1 equal to 1 by root 3. So now we are having x1 and x2. So thus x star is x1 star, x2 star. You may also write lambda, but our target is to find out x1, x2. So x1, x2 is this, is an extreme point. Now target is to locate whether this is maxima or minima. So to verify this, we basically need sufficient conditions. Fine. So we will develop this sufficient condition in the generalized second part. So here is the generalization. So Lagrange method for multi-dimensional cases. In this method, we will develop the sufficient condition also as well as necessary condition. Fine. So now let us now develop Lagrangian function for problem with n independent variables and m number of constraints. And here we have already assumed m is less than n. That means number of constraints is less than number of variables. So this is the problem. Minimum of f of x1, x2, xn objective function subjected to the constraint gj x1, x2, xn is equal to bj, where j varies from 1 to m. So these are total m number of constraints. This is objective function. These are m number of constraints. Now first construct the Lagrangian function. So since here we are having m number of constraints, so they are of this kind: g1 x1 x2 xn is equals to b1, g2 x1 x2 xn is equal to b2, and finally we have gm x1 x2 xn is equal to bm. Now associated with this we have a Lagrange multiplier lambda 1. Associated with this 2 we have Lagrange multiplier lambda 2. Associated with this we are having lambda n. Fine. So now write down the Lagrange function. Lagrange function is L x1 x2 xn. How many lambda? Lambda 1 lambda 2 lambda n. So write down here lambda 1 lambda 2 lambda m is equals to first objective function, which is f x1 x2 xn plus I am writing here plus lambda 1 first constraint, which is this. So g1 x1 x2 xn minus b1 plus lambda 2 second constraint g of g2 x1 x2 xn minus b2 and so on, plus lambda m gm x1 x2 xn minus bm. This is our Lagrangian function. In short, we can write L of x1 x2 xn lambda 1 lambda 2 lambda m is equals to f of x1 x2 xn plus summation. We are having total m number of terms, so this can be written as lambda j gj x1 x2 xn minus bj, where j varies from 1 to m. In short, in summation we can write down this. This is our Lagrangian function. So this is written in the next page here. This is our Lagrangian function. Lambda x1 x2 xn lambda 1 lambda 2 lambda m is equal to objective function plus summation j from 1 to m lambda j gj x1 x2 xm minus bj. This is our Lagrangian function. I hope you understand now. Now here first is the necessary conditions. Necessary condition means del L by del x1 at x star, where x star is this point, x1 star, x2 star, xn star, lambda 1 star, lambda 2 star, lambda m star. So the Lagrangian function this has an extreme point maxima or minima at x star if the first order partial derivatives exist at x star, and del L by del x1 at x star is equal to 0, del L by del x2 at x star is equal to 0 and del L by del xn at x star is equal to 0. Similarly, del L by del lambda 1 at x star is 0, del L by del lambda 2 at x star is equal to 0, del L by del lambda m at x star is equal to 0. So all the variables are covered here, x1, x2, xn, lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda m. Fine. So now in general here we are generalizing these equations in terms of x1, x2, xn. So rather than this, we are writing del L by del xi is equal to 0. Fine. Where I varies from 1 to n. 1, 2, 3, n. So just partially differentiate this with respect to x1. So we get del f by del x1. So del f by del xi, because here where variable is general term xi. So del f by del xi plus we are having terms involving x1 here in terms of g1, g2, gn. So that's why lambda 1 del g1 by del xi plus lambda 2 del g2 by del xi plus lambda m del gm by del xi is equal to 0. Here I varies from 1 to n. So all these equations are covered. All these equations through this. Put I is equal to 1. So we get del L by del x1. Put I is equal to 2. Del L by del x2 and so on. Now we are covering these. So del L by del lambda j. Here is j is equal to 0. So this implies only this part. Constraint part. Because in f we don't have any x lambda. That's why we are having only this. So gj x1 x2 xn is equal to bj, where j varies from 1 to m. So these are total how many terms or how many equations? N number of equations. These are total how many equations? M number of equations. So total n plus m equations. Fine. So now this is the necessary part. Now the sufficient part. This is the sufficient condition. So sufficient conditions with multiple equality constraints. So a sufficient condition for f of x to have a relative maxima minimum at x star is that the quadratic form q defined by this. Q is equal to double summation, one from I equal to n, another one j from 1 to m, del 2l by del xi del xj dxi dxj. This is the quadratic form, if you remember. Must be positive for all admissible choices of dxi dxj, because our target is minimum. For minimum, this quadratic form should be positive or positive definite. Fine. So this quadratic form should be positive definite. And here we have this term. This is nothing but the Hessian matrix, if you remember. Fine. So this should be positive, and if q is negative for all admissible choices of dxi dxj, then x star will be a relative maxima. Fine. So in other words, it can be said that the Hessian matrix del 2l must be positive definite for relative minima. This should be positive definite and negative definite for relative maxima. Fine. So now when you construct the Hessian matrix, then this is of this form. Del 2l is equal to mv v transpose of 0. These are basically the partitioned. What is m? What is v? What is v transpose? So they are written here. Basically, this is basically known as bordered Hessian matrix. This is bordered Hessian matrix, because here we are involving lambda also. So here what is m? M is written here. This part. This m is basically this. Del 2l by del x12, del 2l by del x1 del x2, and del 2l by del x1 del xn. Similarly here del 2l by del x2 del x1, del 2l by del x2 2, and del 2l by del x2 del xn, and so on. And nth row will be del 2l by del xn del x1, del 2l by del xn del x2, and del 2l by del xn2. This is m. Now what about v? V is this part with respect to lambda 1. So del 2l by del x1 del lambda 1, del 2l by del x1 del lambda m, then del 2l by del x2 del lambda 1, and del 2l by del x2 del lambda m. and nth row will be del 2L by del xn del lambda 1 and del 2L by del xn del lambda m. This is V, denoted by V. Now V transpose is basically what? Del 2L by del lambda 1 del x1, del 2L by del lambda 1 del x2, del 2L by del lambda 1 del xn, and so on. And this is the last with respect to del lambda m. So del 2L by del lambda m del x1, del 2L by del lambda 1 del x2, del 2L by del lambda m del xn. This is your V transpose. Basically the transpose of this is this. And last is with respect to lambda. So del 2L by del lambda 1 2, del 2L by del lambda 1 del lambda m, del 2L by del lambda m del lambda 1 and del 2L by del lambda m2. This is O. This is not 0. This is O. Fine. But finally you will see that this will be 0, tends to 0 ultimately. Fine. So L contains only linear terms of lambda j. That's why this is 0, because we are having linear term. So this will be 0, this will be 0, this will be 0, this will be 0. So ultimately all these values will be 0, 0, 0. Fine. So this is our bordered Hessian matrix del 2L m v v transpose 0. This the dimension will be m plus n into m plus n, where m is nothing but in short del 2L by del xi del xj n cross n. V is nothing but del 2L by del xi del lambda j n cross m. And after solving simplification, this is nothing but del j by del xi n cross m. Fine. Now here is a note point, because this is to find out the characteristic whether this is positive definite or negative definite is very difficult. इसका positive definite negative definite find out करना बहुत difficult है. So Hancock suggested a way how to find out the nature of this, whether positive or negative, is written in this note point. So it has shown by Hancock for del 2L be positive definite at x star for minimum is that each root of the polynomial in epsilon defined by the following determinant equation be positive. So here basically Hancock constructed this polynomial equation, which is denoted by this m minus epsilon v transpose and O. This is equals to 0. So here in place of m, this is the matrix and this is the determinant. Here we have written m minus epsilon. So after solving this we get epsilon roots. If all the roots are positive, if all epsilons are positive, if all are negative, and some are positive and negative both. So if epsilon is positive, then basically here for maximum at x star all epsilon must be negative. So this gives you maxima. Positive means minima, and some are positive and some are negative means neither maxima nor minima. Fine. So if all epsilons, all the roots of this equation is positive, then minima. If all are negative, then maxima. If some are positive, some are negative, then neither maxima nor minima. Fine. This is the way. I think you understand. Now next thing is the interpretation of Lagrange multiplier. So we will develop this this interpretation now. So consider the problem minimum of f of x subjected to gx equal to b. This is the vector form of the equation. So the Lagrangian function will be this: L is f of x plus lambda gx minus b. Fine. Then necessary conditions are del L by del xi is equal to 0. So ultimately del f by del xi plus lambda del g by del xi is equal to 0, where I varies from 1 to n. then del L by del lambda is equal to 0. So this is Gx equal to 0. Basically what we are doing is the interpretation of Lagrange multiplier. What is the meaning of Lagrange multiplier? Lambda. उसका क्या meaning है? We are discussing this. Fine. This procedure is over here. The procedure is over here. The sufficient condition is over here. Now we are discussing the geometrical meaning of lambda. So we reached up to here. Now we are trying to find the effect of small relaxation or tightening. Here small relaxation or tightening the constraint, यानी constraint को tight करना बहुत ज़्यादा या बहुत ज़्यादा relax करना, तो उससे ऑप्टिमम सॉल्यूशन पे क्या इफेक्ट पड़ने वाला है. वी आर ट्राइंग टू स्टडी दैट. फाइन. अपने कंस्ट्रेंट को बहुत ज़्यादा टाइट करें हम कि हमें यही चाहिए, या थोड़ा सा रिलैक्स कर दें कि नहीं इतना हो जाएगा तो हम इतना हम कर लेंगे एडजस्ट. फाइन. सो वी आर ट्राइंग टू फाइंड द इफेक्ट ऑफ स्मॉल रिलैक्सेशन और टाइटनिंग द कंस्ट्रेंट्स ऑन ऑप्टिमल ऑब्जेक्टिव फंक्शन वैल्यूज. नाउ वी नीड टू फाइंड द इफेक्ट ऑफ ए स्मॉल चेंज ऑफ बी इन ऑप्टिमल एफ. हियर बी इज द राइट हैंड साइड. कितना हम इसमें स्मॉल चेंज कर लें ताकि हमारे ऑब्जेक्टिव फंक्शन पे क्या इफेक्ट पड़ेगा, हम उसको स्टडी कर रहे हैं. फाइन. सो नाउ हियर now the from the necessary condition, this is the necessary condition here, this condition is here and this part is here. Now after small change dxi, small change in the variable xi is denoted by dxi. small variable में हमने थोड़ा सा change किया, that change is basically dxi. So what we will get, just multiply by dxi here, dxi here, so we get this equation. Similarly differentiate this, so we get dg is equal to db. Small change, I think you understand what is the meaning of dg. dg means small change. Change in g is equal to change in b. Fine. So now take the summation here and here. So what we will get here, I is from 1 to n, so taking summation from I equal to 1 to n, del g del f by del xi dxi is equal to minus lambda summation I from 1 to n del g by del xi dxi. तो सबका समेशन ले लिया. टोटल चेंज कैलकुलेट करना है, तो एक्स आई में कितना, एक्स वन में कितना, एक्स टू में कितना, एक्स थ्री में कितना, सबका समेशन ले लेंगे तो टोटल चेंज आ जाएगा. सो दिस विल बी गिव यू द टोटल चेंज. फाइन. एंड देन डी जी इज इक्वल टू डी बी. बट व्हाट इज दिस total derivative? I think you understand what is this, the meaning of this. This is the total derivative. This is nothing but df. Similarly here, this is the total derivative minus lambda dg. This is the dg, total derivative, and here we have dg equal to db. So when you see, you can replace the dg is equal to db here. So ultimately what we will get this equation, df is equal to minus lambda db. So rate of change in b is, rate of change in f is equal to minus lambda times rate of change in b. This is the meaning of this. So at optimal stage, df star is equal to minus lambda star db. Because हम b में तो कोई चेंज कर नहीं सकते क्योंकि b तो फिक्स है. हम लैम्डा में हमें चेंज करना है, तो कितना चेंज हम लैम्डा में करें कि हमारा ऑब्जेक्टिव फंक्शन में चेंज हो जाए. दैट्स वाई दीज चेंजेस इन लैम्डा एंड एफ इज डिनोटेड बाय दिस स्टार. सो लैम्डा स्टार इज माइनस डी एफ स्टार डिवाइडेड बाय डी बी. सो डिपेंडिंग ऑन द वैल्यू ऑफ लैम्डा स्टार, पॉजिटिव, निगेटिव और जीरो, द फॉलोइंग फिजिकल मीनिंग कैन बी एट्रीब्यूटेड टू लैम्डा स्टार. ठीक. सो नाउ हियर first case, when lambda star is positive, so you will see when this quantity is positive, so this quantity should be positive. तो जब ये positive हुआ तो ये भी positive होना चाहिए. And this quantity is positive right hand side only when df lambda star by db star is negative, because that negative multiplied by negative will provide you positive. So this quantity will be negative. So here is the meaning, df star divided by db should be negative if lambda star is positive. This is the meaning. And this is negative means if you increase slightly this quantity, then df star should be opposite. अगर ये आप बढ़ाते हैं तो ये घटना चाहिए, तभी अपोजिट होगा, तभी निगेटिव आएगा. यानी ये चीज़ अगर बढ़ाएंगे तो ये चीज़ घटनी चाहिए, या ये चीज़ घटाएंगे तो ये चीज़ बढ़नी चाहिए. देन वी आर गेटिंग निगेटिव साइन. अपोजिट होने चाहिए. एक चीज़ बढ़ेगी तो एक चीज़ घटेगी. फाइन. So 1 unit increase in positive b value decreases the optimal value of f. तो अगर हम f इसको बढ़ाते हैं तो ये वैल्यू घटनी चाहिए 1 unit. Fine. So 1 unit increase in b positive value decreases the optimal value of f and thus minimum value of objective function increase. यानी जो minimum value है, for example here this is f star, so the value decreases is shown in terms of increases here. तो minimum value और ज़्यादा बढ़ती चली जाएगी, यानी कि right में जाएगी और ज़्यादा decrease होती चली जाएगी. Fine. Case 2, when lambda is negative, when this quantity is negative, then this quantity should be negative. This quantity is negative means this quantity should be positive. ये पॉजिटिव होना चाहिए. अब पॉजिटिव का मतलब जब b बढ़े तो f भी बढ़े, दोनों एक ही डायरेक्शन में बढ़े. सो 1 यूनिट इंक्रीज इन पॉजिटिव b वैल्यू इंक्रीजेज द ऑप्टिमल वैल्यू ऑफ f. दस मैक्सिमम वैल्यू ऑफ ऑब्जेक्टिव फंक्शन इंक्रीजेज, यानी मैक्सिमम वैल्यू बढ़ती चली जाएगी क्योंकि f बढ़ता चला जाएगा. Case 3, when lambda star is 0, that means incremental change in b does not affect on the optimal value of f. यानी कोई इफेक्ट नहीं पड़ने वाला. So this is the meaning, geometrical meaning is that जब भी lambda star पॉजिटिव होगा यानी कि मिनिमम वैल्यू आपकी क्या हो जाएगी, बढ़ती चली जाएगी. जब भी lambda star इज निगेटिव होगा मैक्सिमम वैल्यू आपकी बढ़ती चली जाएगी. और जब lambda star 0 होगा तब कोई चेंज नहीं होगा, नो इफेक्ट on the optimum solution. So this is the conclusion. Fine. Now in the next video we will take the examples on Lagrange multiplier technique. Fine. Thank you.